So we read yesterday in the parasha, the pasuk that the Gemara is going to focus. Kvar hayu. I'm sorry, daf pei hey. This is the pei hey. I'm sorry. Daf pei hey amud aleph. Maybe you have to move the Gemara a few more pages ahead. Baruch atah.
Amen.
The Gemara is raising a question that we read yesterday in the parasha about Ukvar hayu. Kvar haya. See Kvar haya right here. Kvar haya Rabbi Ishmael v'Rabbi Akiva v'Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah me'alchim b'derech. These three great rabbis traveling the Levi Hasadar, Rabbi Ishmael ben Rosh, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Malchim Achem, and two other students who are secondary, so to say, secondary type of students are in the back. Nish'ala she'ela zu b'fnehem. So the question came up. Minayin lepikuach nefesh shetoche et haShabbat. How do we know that we are permitted to desecrate Shabbat to save someone's life? Everyone knows it, Baruch Hashem, but where do you learn it from? So the real question is, why is the question being asked about Shabbat? How about the Minayin lepikuach nefesh shetoche Yom Kippur, Minayin lepikuach nefesh shetoche cheeseburgers? Basically, pikuach nefesh is doche all the avirot except the big three. Why was it asked on Shabbat? So the general answer is because
the Shabbat comes every week.
Okay. Okay, David says the Shabbat comes every week. Look at Sefer Zmanim and Chol Shabbat. Give one to him. Look at Chol Shabbat all the way to the back. Chol Shabbat is the first topic in Sefer Zmanim, but let's look on the last page. Chol Shabbat all the way to
The end of Shabbat?
the end of the Chol Shabbat, like the last page. The last. David told them, David came from Italy, so he was playing that. Tell him, what did you say this you do?
So they don't have, they don't mention Lot Asat Goy. They say,
No, he said the Beracha, instead of saying Shelo Asani Goy, they say Sha'asani Yehudi. Be'emet, the Gemara in
Diplomatically correct.
Zvachim, before Italy was created, it was already in the Gemara, of course.
Wow.
But the Gemara has two versions, and the question really is why is the Rambam, why is the Shulchan Aruch or bringing the Gersa and wisdom Shelo Asani Goy?
Yeah.
It's the question. So of course, if you're near the Vatican, you understand why you take the other version. But at a much higher level, the answer is God didn't make you a Jew. You make yourself a Jew. He didn't make you a Goy.
It's up to you.
There are plenty of Jews that you are not sure if they are, which creatures are they. Sha'asani, a person makes himself a Yehudi.
Wow.
Shelo Asani Goy, we are making mitzvot, tefillin, chesed, tefillah. This is what makes you.
What a Musar lesson of a simple bit of
in front of that big shul, there's a church on the other side, and there's a writing on it. And what does the writing say is, you're walking on the wrong side.
Really?
Interesting.
On the church, like, it's telling you that people going to the shul, you're walking on the wrong side.
Telling the shul people you're going to the wrong side. Nice.
So look a second.
Also, you notice when places are built, the church is always on the highest part of the city. They don't want any building taller. They always make sure.
But you do realize, of course, that they took it from us. Yes? Shulchan Aruch says, let's say if you build the ideal Jewish community, what makes the community? The shul has to be the tallest building in there.
Mhm.
This is the Gemara in Megillah.
Okay.
If you go to, let's say Sha'arei Chesed, when Sha'arei Chesed was built, you can see there are two shuls were the tallest building in there. See, but the church has more love to the million of dollars, the church.
And the tower.
A tower, yes.
Yeah.
Power comes from there. By us, the reason is simply to make a statement, you spend money on a nice house, a fair home, but the Knesset has to be. So let's see the Gemara, let's see the Rambam now. Look at the Rambam on top. The Rambam says, the Shabbat ba'avodah zara, here, keeping Shabbat and avodah zara, כל אחת משתיהם שכולה כנגד שאר כל המצוות. Keeping Shabbat is equal to all the mitzvot together. Avodah Zarah, Shabbat and Avodah Zarah on the same scale, yes? והשבת היא האות שבין הקדוש ברוך הוא בינינו לעולם. We say Shabbat is, everyone that keeps Shabbat is making a statement, I believe in Hashem. לפיכך, כל העובר על שאר המצוות, a man who doesn't eat kosher, well sharpness, הרי הוא בכלל רשעי ישראל, okay, he's a Jew, but he's a Rasha. But, אבל מחלל שבת בפרהסיה, הרי הוא כעובד עבודה זרה. So the Rambam is telling us that if someone is designating Shabbat in public, what you do in your house is definitely not good. You can't say עובד עבודה זרה, but if you do it in public, ושניהם כגויים לכל דבריהם. חללי שבת בפרהסיה. We're not talking about, let's say, Reformed Jews in Texas who never knows what Shabbat is about. But people who grew up in an environment, in a religious environment, who went to a Jewish school, know what Shabbat is. So let's go back now to the Gemara. The Gemara is raising the question, how do we know that we're allowed to desecrate Shabbat to save someone's life? The obvious question is, why Shabbat? Because you would think I can eat non-kosher or eat on Kippur to save someone's life. Not Shabbat. Shabbat is Avodah Zarah. You cannot save someone's life with Avodah Zarah. This is why the Gemara wants to say that even Shabbat, even though not keeping Shabbat is equal to Avodah Zarah, still you have to save someone's life by desecrating Shabbat.
And by inference, if you do it on Shabbat, everything else you can do except for the major three.
Correct,
Right.
correct.
Right.
Even though Avodah Zarah is one of the major three, but when it comes to save someone's life, remember, when we teach it to kids get it very easy because Shabbat doesn't mean a lot. We're talking about people who Shabbat by them is everything. Still, the Gemara is saying, when it comes to save Shabbat, someone's life. So there are 5 answers to this question. Where do we learn that we can desecrate Shabbat to save someone's life? Answer number one is, look at this. Eli? Eli Tower.
Yeah, but he has no
No,
video.
no,
No video.
He might be in Jersey. Or in Manhattan. Last week he was in Manhattan. Na'ana Rabbi Ishmael ve'amar. Listen to the first.
No, yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh,
Yeah, I just don't want to distract you or anything. But I'm here. I'm here.
Are you in Jersey or in Manhattan again?
No, I'm in Manhattan.
Okay, okay. It's Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
But look, I have a great idea. It's Mother's Day became a business day.
They're marketing everything.
$30 billion business around Mother's Day.
Yeah.
נענה רבי ישמעאל ואמר, the reason why we're learning it is because yesterday we read a pasuk that the Gemara is focusing on. נענה רבי ישמעאל ואמר, אם במחתרת יימצא הגנב. If a man is digging a tunnel into your house, the Torah says that the owner of the house can kill the intruder, yes? Listen, ומה זה שספק על ממון בה, ספק על נפשות. You're not sure if he's coming for cash or jewelry or he's coming to kill. זה ספק, yes? ושפיכות דמים מטמא את הארץ. Murder, shedding blood, is contaminates the land of Israel everywhere, but the land of Israel for sure. וגורם לשכינה שתסתלק מישראל. Hashem is removing his special focus on Israel if people are killing each other. So remember, murder is a terrible avera. Still, we permit murder to save someone's life, right?
Yeah.
Why are we killing the intruder?
Actually, could potentially save somebody's life.
Potentially, right?
The way he's
Potentially, not actually.
Right, it's not
Well,
even
more so.
definite, correct?
Even when there's a doubt about it.
ניתן להצילו בנפשו, קל וחומר, לפיקוח נפש שדוחה את השבת. If we permit murder, killing the intruder, as Rani says, even though you're not sure that he's coming to kill, קל וחומר, לפיקוח נפש, even though murder contaminates the land, murder removes the presence of Hashem from Israel.
So right, the level of priorities, then we took Shabbat as if you could do Shabbat and everything else. But now, if murder is even higher than Shabbat,
Correct.
if the
Ma'aseh
person
the
could murder,
damage,
therefore even Shabbat,
the damage that murder does,
even more.
terrible damage to the land of Israel, every place, but certainly yes, yes. So,
Rabbi, I'm lost because we're talking about somebody having a heart attack on Shabbat, and now we're talking about an intruder coming. I can't connect the two.
in Israel, they have approximately 200 murders a year, 100 murders a year. Murder, you know, gangs, these guys.
Okay,
Each murder contaminates the land.
okay,
And still the Torah allows me to murder an intruder that comes into the house. Why am I allowed to do it? Even though murder is terrible, to save someone's life.
okay,
So I'm allowed to murder to save.
okay.
Kal Vachomer, that desecrating Shabbat should be allowed to save someone's
Okay,
life.
Kal Vachomer.
And this is Kal Vachomer.
Okay, okay, okay.
So then the Gemara continues bringing other proofs. We're not going to focus on many, but I'm moving to yesterday's parasha. Turn the page. Look, 2 lines before the white line. 2 lines before the white line. You see, your question is right, Ezra, because we're not looking at the intruder killing him as a murder, but the reality is you are, and you're not even sure if the person is coming to kill you. Assume,
Yeah,
you assume, but still you are. Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh, you have the Gemara is in Masechet Yoma Pei Amud Bet.
No, I can't get access yet. I will in a few minutes. I'm
Okay.
walking back from the shul.
Okay. רבי שמעון בן מנסיה אומר, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. Listen to the words, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. Right? אמרה התורה, חלל עליו שבת אחת, כדי שישמור שבתות הרבה. The reason why we are permitted to desecrate Shabbat, to save a man with a heart attack, is because if he dies, he's not going to keep Shabbat anymore.
He
If you
survives
save him,
many Shabbatot.
he'll have many Shabbatot. See, logically, it sounds very good, but there is something up. What happens if you know that the guy is not going to make it for next Shabbat?
Mm.
He says, desecrate Shabbat to allow you to.
More Shabbat.
More
He's not gonna
Shabbat,
make it
but
the next
he-
week.
it's-
But if
He's
he
not,
leaves
he's not going to make it for.
So, right, this is just strictly logical now. We're not.
So the question, like, so the question now is so take this and let's see the Shulchan Aruch. What happens if I know for sure? I know for sure that he's not going to keep on the Shabbat here.
That's an example, perhaps, if when you start looking for reasons, then. start to
Correct,
change things.
correct.
Maybe we should look at the reasons at certain.
No, that's it. That's
I
it.
should
Look
look,
what we are.
Like
Look
here,
what
let's say
we are.
somebody say you shouldn't have pork because trichinosis. No,
Correct.
don't give me the reason.
Like what Rani is saying is, the danger is always in finding a reason for the mitzvah is, but then you say, well, this doesn't apply to me, this doesn't apply. Many people say, when the conservative and reform movement started, say, well, turning the light on, it's not a big deal. Turning the gas on, man, fire is when you have to do something physically. But he's not saying the reason, he's saying the Torah wants to have Shmirat Shabbat, yes? If a person's life is in danger, desecrating Shabbat, so Rani says it sounds like, let's see now what the Shulchan Aruch says. Siman Shin Chavtet.
We could take an extreme case. It's Friday afternoon, 7 p.m. Sunset at 7:30. Person's having a heart attack. They can pass till 9 o'clock.
Right.
So what's the
Right.
story?
Look at Chief Gimel, Shin Chavchet, Shin. Good, Ezra. Almost there. This is Shin Chavchet. Shin Chavchet. Mission Aflar, you see?
Yeah.
Shulchan Aruch says it's a Gemara. Mission Aflar Mapol. The house caved in on Shabbat. Safek Chai, Safek Met. We're not sure if it's survived or not.
Yeah.
Safek Usham, Safek Inosham. Maybe he walked from the back.
Maybe he's there, maybe he's not there.
Maybe he's not even there.
Wow.
אפילו אם תרצה לומר שהוא שם, ספק עקום, ספק ישראל, maybe it's not George. מפקחים עליו, we are permitted to desecrate Shabbat, to remove all the degree, to give, and etc. אף על פי שיש בו כמה ספקות, even though we are.
His doubts.
He
many
might
doubts.
be dead. He might,
Wow.
not so far so, he says in Dalet, אפילו מצאו מרוצץ. Even if you open already, you discover that most of his body is already damaged, which means that most likely he's not going to make it too long, but he's still breathing, yes? שאינו יכול לחיות אלא לפי שעה. It's clear that this man is not going to make it for too long. Still Shulchan Aruch says, מפקחים ובודקים עד חותמו. Because they used to, how do you know if he's alive or not? They take the pulse, but they used to put a feather near the nose
nostril, and then
to see. אם לא ירגיש בחותמו חיות, אז ודאי. So here the Shulchan Aruch is telling us as well that even if the chances that he would make it for another day, asleep, that's a good Shabbat.
so therefore the reasoning doesn't hold.
Right. So Rani is right. Rani says, the Gemara, Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh said, how do I know that you can desecrate Shabbat? Because we Shabbat, Bnei Israel at the Shabbat. Let's desecrate this Shabbat to give him another 50 Shabbat. But he's not going to have it this Shabbat. Why are you desecrating?
Yeah.
So this is a big question. So the answer to that is, there are cases that if you take all the other sources would not apply, only this reason. So put your Shulchan Aruch, put back the Shulchan Aruch, go back to the Gemara Ezra. Look now at the first white line. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shemuel, listen to this. I Havai Atam, at Hai Bin, and this, remember, we began the three great rabbis are traveling, and somebody is asking the question, and each rabbi comes up with another source, right? Either you learn from Baba Machteret, or you learn, I been there, Hava Amina, I would have said, Didi, my source, Adifa Mididhu, is better from yours. Which one? What we read yesterday in the parasha. V'chai b'hem v'lo shi'amut b'hem.
That's it.
We read yesterday in the Chumash, the pasuk, Ele ha-mitzvot asher ya'aseh otam ha'adam v'chai b'hem. The mitzvot were given to live by. If the mitzvah, keeping the Shabbat, right, prevents you from being alive, you're not chayav.
And even for just moments, basically.
Right,
Moments.
right.
Right,
You understand that
it's simple.
this pasuk is telling you that even if you have moments to live, but the Torah was given, yes, the Torah was given, let me bring the Chumash to show you the pasuk. I'll take one Chumash to see the pasuk. The pasuk is a very interesting pasuk. Look at the pasuk here. ושמרתם את חוקותיי ואת משפטיי אשר יעשה אותם האדם וחי בהם. The חוקים המשפטים were given to us to live by. But if the man has a heart attack on Shabbat and we would not desecrate Shabbat, the Shabbat prevents us from saving this man's life. So this is so again. So now the question that Rani made before becomes bigger. So what does the rabbi gain from the pasuk? ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, you remember? אמרה תורה חלל עליו שבת אחד, desecrate one שבת, כדי שישמור שבת.
Why you present that as an answer?
We see in the Shulchan Aruch it's the opposite, even if you have 2 minutes. Now here, listen to something fascinating. There's a famous story in Sefer Melachim, yes? The woman who supported Eliyahu, her son died, and she's blaming, she's accusing Eliyahu, why did you come? Because of you, my son died. What did you mean? Rani, what did she mean when she accuses you? What does she really mean? Her son died because of Eliyahu is there. The same way that the children of Aaron died instantly as they bore the Ketot. Why did they die? Because you are in the Beit HaMikdash and what's expected from you in big places, right? A regular person would drink a Torah, he wouldn't die right away with a fire coming into his nose. You are in Beit HaMikdash, you are in the presence of. She is telling him, because you are here, the envire Hashem is judging us totally different because you are the woman. Before you came, Hashem looked at us.
Expectations were average people.
If you see a giant here. Anyway, Eliyahu takes the baby and basically revives the baby. Right? Now, Tosafot are asking, Eliyahu is a Kohen.
Kohen, it is a myth.
What permitted Eliyahu to contaminate himself to save the baby? So to support the answer, Eliyahu was sure. He can say
in his mind, the baby is revivable because of his special quality.
Okay, it's very easy for us to believe, which is Eliyahu wanted to do, but the real question is, Which pasuk that we learn now teaches us as to teach to say,
More Shabbatot.
אלה המצוות אשר יעשה אותם האדם וחי בהם. The mitzvot will give him to live by, not to cause us problems. The baby is dead, there's no mitzvah to do תחילת המתים. תוספות say, Eliyahu is sure, he can revive the baby. There's no mitzvah to revive babies. If Eliyahu, if a doctor who is a Kohen is running to an emergency, even though it's possible that the patient might die, he's alive. He's
dead.
Now running got it. This is why the rabbi told us a new
Because to be
source.
more Shabbatot.
What is the new
He
source?
knows the end result will be more Shabbatot.
Desecrate one Shabbat to gain more Shabbatot. Except why is even if he's dead?
He knows he has the ability to do
Again,
that.
all the other sources that teach us that you are obligated to save someone's life, even at the expense of many mitzvot, is only when he's alive. If he's dead, none of them will help us. Comes this rabbi and gives us a reason.
You would think they just throw out the
He's
line.
dead already. V'shameru b'nei Israel et Shabbat. Desecrate one Shabbat in order to give this baby, so this baby became a Shomer Shabbat, many other Shabbatot.
How was he still contaminated though?
What?
Kohen was
Right,
contaminated.
so we mentioned the Gemara is raising the question. After the baby was revived, is he contaminating? The Gemara says no. The Gemara says no, because his
He
body
wasn't really
is not dead.
It
No,
wasn't-
right now he's not dead. Chacham Ovadia, when he and Chacham Ben Zion Abba Shaula were discussing back and forth 5 Teshuvot, are we permitted to take an organ from a dead body
Oh,
and to give it to a man who is alive? This is written 4 years ago. One of the issues, limited, another person might come
That's
normally,
what I
we have
said,
people
I
after
wanna leave it open,
breakfast,
yeah.
smoothie, people come to stuff. Okay, also without. So one of the questions is, can you take an organ from a dead man and give it to a Kohen? The organ is dead. We're going to read tomorrow morning in the parasha.
is it really dead?
Yeah.
Is it just for the I'm not sure if it's fully dead.
Yeah, but when I had my.
It has to be viable, so
No,
maybe
no,
soon
no.
after death, I'm not
No,
sure.
he's asking, Rani is right, when it comes to a heart, if the guy is dead, you cannot
It's
take
dead,
it out.
that's still.
I'm asking a leg, a kidney. A kidney can be taken even if the body
I
is
see.
not alive anymore in the next hour or two.
Yeah.
You're right, the heart you cannot. The question is, when they spoke, is you take the cornea of the eye, yes? Yes, you take people who are dead, just take out the eye, take out the, doctors do hundreds every
And
day.
the cornea, they said really wasn't an organ, more like
Okay, so
a
this
covering,
is,
so that's
this
why they
is-
got
this
the
is-
logic.
this is also, so says Chacham Ovadia, the Gemara that he mentioned. What is the Gemara telling us? The baby that was dead, if you touch him, you contaminate yourself. After you revive him, he's not dead. Says Rabbi Unterman, Rabbi Ovadia brings him, take an organ and give it to a man who's alive, and now you revive it, it doesn't make him tameh. You know, beautiful.
Because it had the gut life.
I tell you why this quote is a nice quote. Because very often, as you learn them a word, people say, Rabbi, come on, this case never happens. The Gemara is raising a question. Eliyahu and Elisha, 2 prophets, each one revived the baby. The Gemara wants to know, metameh or not. It's not going to happen.
It's a great
Why is the
question.
Gemara? Answer is, in the last 30 years, we developed a new method of what? Taking organs, transplants. This logic of the Gemara is helping us to solve the question, can a Kohen receive a transplant of a leg, of a kidney, that was taken from a dead man?
And if
And what is
it's
the
a Jew,
Gemara?
if it's a Jew, right, if it's a goy, doesn't matter?
We're talking about it.
Yeah, I'm saying a Jewish donor.
No, but
The recipient is a Jew.
no,
If it's a Christian donor, does it
Even
matter?
if he's not Jewish,
Yeah.
if you touch a goy, you become
I
tameh.
see it's touching.
Only if you are under the same roof with the goy, you become tameh. But if you touching the tameh. So here is a question in the Gemara.
Rabbi, question though, according to what we just said with Eliyahu, if the surgeon was a Kohen and whoever it became touched the organ, he'd be tameh. But when now the organ is brought back to life.
We spoke many times. Rabbi Ovadia and Rabbi Feinstein strongly condemned those who go to medical school if they're Kohanim.
Okay, forget even a regular person, doesn't have to be. If the organ mitameh, right, makes him tameh, but now it's brought back to life, does the tumah go away? He's not tameh anymore. Like Eliyahu Hanavi, you might say that.
But let's say the Kohen is the surgeon who removed the kidneys from the dead body.
Yeah.
Then he
He's
is
tameh.
becoming tameh. When he's holding the kidneys, he is tameh. Yes. Our question was if the recipient is a Kohen, and the Maaseh they say it's mutar. Fine.
No, I didn't say, but we're going back. You said Eliyahu. We said, was Eliyahu tameh when he revived the child? We said, no, he's not tameh because the child was revived.
No, yofi.
I'm saying that the surgeon, this organ is brought back to life. The tumah is gone.
Definitely tameh because I'm
that's
making
why,
it
yes.
up. It took Eliyahu 20 minutes or half an hour or 2 hours to revive him. Until he was revived, Eliyahu is tameh. The question was, Eli, of Tosfot, what gave Eliyahu the right to contaminate himself and go into
But
the
he did
room?
remain contaminated?
Yeah, of course,
Oh.
because when he touched him, when the Gemara says that the baby is not contaminating, it's only from now on after he's revived.
Right.
Everyone agrees that whoever touched the baby before he was revived is tameh. Why he's dead? The question is, Eli, after he was revived, normally tumat met can be removed or deleted only if you sprinkle the baby. Did the baby have to be sprinkled or not? What removed for the tumat met that he had? Understand? And that we're saying, if the body was revived, it's not met anymore. So go.
Sorry, I lost for a second, but yeah, I understand. I thought you said Eliyahu was not tameh after he revived the baby. You're saying he was tameh even after he revived the baby.
This was Tosfot's question. What allowed Eliyahu to start with the baby is Kohen. Tosfot says batuach that he's going to revive him. Obviously, this gives him the green light to go into the room, but he's becoming tameh first. Of course, he's tameh. Eliyahu had to be sprinkled third and seventh day with ever parad umah go to the
Right. Okay.
Contaminated. Until then, he was not able to have any
This
Kohen
is
privileges?
right.
Until then.
Rabbi,
Not that he didn't have Kohen privileges, he was Kohen's privileges, but he couldn't do avodah. That's what he had. Kelati
Yeah,
terumah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
well, here we're talking about a guy who's willing to respect the Shabbat. What about a guy who is doing Avodah Zarah and he's a Jew?
This is a very sensitive question that no one talks about. No one,
Yeah.
yes. He's asking Jews for Jesus. He's a Jew. His mother was Jewish. So if you want the real answer is no. But in reality today, we don't ask questions because it's Mufurash in Shulchan Aruch.
Right.
It's Mufurash in Shulchan Aruch. It's Mufurash in Rambam. See, there's certain Rambams, Eli, that we never emphasize because it's dangerous. But the concept, I'm not talking about a Reformed Jew. A Reformed Jew is a Tirok Shenishba. But take, as you said, take thousands of Israelis who grew up in religious homes, they became not religious. You cannot say that they're Tirok Shenishba. It says Me'ir Beferush. It has to be. Let me show you a fascinating case to emphasize this case. I will discuss here.
Why, Rabbi? Don't we believe every Jew makes teshuvah?
Yeah, we do believe, yeah. When he makes tshuva, it's good. But when he's desecrating Shabbat now, the halacha is.
But you're saying Bachai Bahem goes to the future. So if the guy makes teshuvah, Bachai Bahem, and he keeps Shabbat, even one, that's the reason for keeping him alive.
who do teshuvah would definitely save him. But, I mean, if you want to hear it as strong as you can, it's in the Rambam, but let me show you here just a minute. You know, because we have the Mishnah Berurah open, so this is why it's easier to locate. The only leniency here, Jeffrey, is I am desecrating Shabbat for a man that right now is going to die because of the future. But I'll show it to you in the Biur Halacha, then I'll show it to you in the Rambam. Without, this is here. Look at the Eli, if you have access to the Biur Halacha, it is Siman Shin Chavten all the way at the end. By you, look at it, by you, it's in this page. Look at that, it's page Tav Samach Chet, right here. Without,
Stars?
without, you see the three lines from the top, you see? Right there, yeah, 3 lines. Without says, ביאור הלכה, שראיתי בפרי מגדים, שכתב, listen to this, שמי שהיה חייב מיתת בדין בימים הקדמונים, the time of the Sanhedrin, he was sentenced by Bedin to be executed. See, normally, Bedin never takes a vote on Friday, but that's it happened, or listen to this, now he's in jail. By Sunday, we're going to execute. Because the Sanhedrin investigated the 2 witnesses. Then Nafal alav Agal. And the jail fell in, the cave. Now his life is in danger. Again, if I don't save him by tomorrow, I'm going to execute him.
He's dead man walking, basically. He's dead man
He's a
walking.
dead man walking. Says the Pri Megadim, they mefakrim alav. We should desecrate Shabbat because until tomorrow morning, he's a Jew. The tshuva doesn't have. Tomorrow morning we stone him no matter what. You can say tshuva from today till tomorrow. The tshuva you do before the Avirah. We're talking about Avirah, that the punishment is death. Remember, 2 people gave him a warning. Says the Pri Megadim, the Elohim memitim oto b'Shabbat. In Shabbat you cannot execute the guy. V'chayei sha'ah, yesh al kol panim. So at least the guy has 12 hours till tomorrow morning. That's it. Says the Biur Halacha, ולעניות דעתי לא נהיר הכלל. No, I strongly disagree. Why? התורה חסה על חיי שעה, היינו למי שחס על חיים שלו. The Torah tells us to save someone if he is protecting his own life. להפוקה בזה, but this one, as Rani said it, is a dead man. גברא קטילה ומחמת רשעתו. He's a dead man. ולא עדיפה מרועי בהמה דקה. קיים עלן ביורד הקוף מונחה דאין מעלים אותו מן הבוב. In the time of the Gemara, a shepherd, a normal shepherd was assumed to be a thief because he used to graze. So the Gemara says if you see his life in danger, he fell into the ocean.
Wow.
Why is an ongoing Rasha? Says the Mishnah Berurah, if the man was sentenced to execution, a man that
He's
is
as good as
still
dead,
has,
therefore don't save him?
is an ongoing Rasha. So the same way that a man who is jogging every day, but he's a shepherd, and the Gemara says don't save him. Why? Because he's a Rasha and he continues being, even though we tell him not to.
Is this the halakha or this is opinion?
It's a machloket between the Pri Megadim and this. So this is cute to stay here, but if you see what the Rambam said, then of course this is the halakha.
Oh, it is. Wow.
But the maaseh, the trick, of course, is
On the person who's supposed to die, we accept witnesses until he actually dies. There's always maybe a possibility that somebody might come forward with new evidence.
What's the answer to that, Rabbi?
Right, but the likelihood that this happens, you open Rambam Melchot Rotzeach, Sefer Nezikim, open Rambam Sefer Nezikim Melchot Rotzeach. The Gemara, what he is saying here is that the man who is being taken out to be executed, we make sure that if one of the judges is coming up with a new idea, we would stop the execution. But it's only because the Torah says Ve'itzilu ha'edah. This is a chance. But in real life, look now, Sefer Nezikim, Rambam Sefer Nezikim, Melchot Rotzeach. Look at it on top. Melchot Rotzeach. Just as yeah, good. Look, Sefer Nezikin is the end of Sefer Nezikin. Look on top of Sefer Nezikin all the way there. Go further. Till it says on top of Chod Rotzeach. He just says that's a Sefer. Right after. Look at Chod Rotzeach. You give me half a second. You look at Perek Dalet, first to show you how serious we take. I'm going to show you the positive and the negative. Perek Dalet, Halacha Chetet, Dalet, and then we'll see Yud. First, the Rambam is going to show us how serious we take murder. ההורג נפשות. זאת אומרת, ולא היו שני העדים רואים אותו כאחד, but the two witnesses did not stand together and saw what he did. אלא ראהו האחד אחר האחד. They saw it one after the other. This is not good. Legally, you cannot really kill him. He continues, he gives you another example. או שהרג בפני שניים בלא התראה. The witnesses forgot to give him a warning. You cannot really execute him legally. או שהוכחשו העדים בבדיקות ולא הוכחשו בחקירות. Let's say when the Sanhedrin is investigating the murder, they ask one witness, which color was the tie? He says blue, the other one says yellow. What difference does it make? But if there is if they both say we don't know, it's fine. But if one says yellow, one says blue, we cannot kill him. So what do? Here's a murderer, the two witnesses witnessed the murder. But they contradict each other in unimportant detail. Says the Rambam on all the above, it is, כל אלו הרצחנים, קונסים אותם לכיפה, ומאכילים אותם לחם צר ומים לחץ. We put him in a cell. We give him a small amount of bread and water until he's shrinking. His intestines are shrinking. Yes? Then, מאכילים אותם שעורים, we give them barley, עד שקריסה מבקעת. Barley normally expands.
Yeah.
So basically, we cause the death of the murderer indirectly. Says the Rambam, אין עושים דבר זה לשאר מחויבים מיתות בדין. If a man had an affair with a married woman, we had the same contradiction. If legally we cannot kill him, we would not kill him. So why are we doing it by murder? ואין עושים דבר זה לשאר מחויבי מיתת בדין, אלא אם נתחייב מיתה ממתים אותו, ואם אינו חייב מיתה פותרים אותו. There is a legal contradiction in America, right? Every point, Remember Johnny Cochran in the
Yeah. If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
yes. The Rambam says in every case we do it except by murder. By murder, we're trying to eliminate the guy. Whatever. Why says the Rambam? Why? ואין צריך לומר עריות או חילול שבת, we don't do it. Why? He says because those עבירות are not, look at the third line, שאלו העוונות, right, אין מהעבירות שבין אדם לקדוש ברוך הוא, yes. The man has an affair, it's בין אדם למקום, yes. even עבודה זרה, אבל שפיכות דמים מהעבירות שבין אדם בינו לחברו, וכל מי שיש בידו עוון זה, הרי הוא רשע גמור. בין כל המצוות שעשה כל ימיו, שקולים כנראה. It's a strong fight. Up till now we feel good. Now comes the point, remember we saw before, a man that was sentenced by the Sanhedrin to be killed. It's Shabbat, suffers a heart attack. Should we save him or not? Plibegadim says yes, because till tomorrow he's still a person. Shna Berurah says no, because he's a Rasha. Where did you take it? Now, look at Halacha Yud. Look at Halacha Yud all the way at the bottom. Haminim, minim, Jewish minim, הם עובדי עבודה זרה מישראל. Yes. Jews who went to Buddhism or Christianity, או העושה עבירות להכעיס. What is להכעיס? I'm not, a Jew who goes to a non-kosher restaurant, not because it's tastier or because it's cheaper.
Just because it's.
Just to make a statement. Remember, on Chol HaMoed Pesach, some Rishayim took pitas on Pesach and threw the pita. This is people, not good people, yes? Says the Rambam, או העושה עבירות להכעיס, אפילו אכל נבלה או לבש שעטנז להכעיס. He's saying, I'm eating this pork, not because I like it, it's just to show that I don't believe it's asur. זה נקרא להכעיס, בואו other page. הרי זה מין, the Rambam gives him a t-shirt, מין, healthy, והאפיקורסים, הם שכופרים בתורה ובנבואה. I don't believe the Torah was given by Sinai. Remember, we're not talking about, again, we're not talking about most of the Jews that have no clue. We're talking about people that were raised, they know what it is, and they make mitzvah. The Rambam says mitzvah le'organ. Why? The answer is, if you look at the big picture, if you listen to yesterday's parasha, the real sinners are the ones who are destroying Israel, yes? This man in society is causing destruction, yes? אם יש בידו כוח להורגה.
We better not record this. It happened with Rabbi Hecht, he said something.
I don't know with Rabbi.
Yeah.
Rabbi Hecht said that the one that killed Rabbi
Anybody that gives up
had
territory.
the right. Unfortunately, remember this fellow killed Mr. Rabin, and the truth is that Rabbi Hecht was accused not in a fair way. Rabbi Hecht spoke theoretically.
I was in this room when Rabbi Hecht made that treatment.
Right, but he just said, but the Rambam, he's talking here. This halacha is not being taught anywhere, but it's written in the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch. And again, the reason is, because in today's day and age, in order to, let's say if someone comes to me, here's a guy, you see this guy Rasha Gamur, he's doing, the answer is, I'm not clean enough to kill him. Shmuel HaNavi can kill him, you understand? Rabbi Feinstein would be able to do it. Chabovadia would do it. But we have no right to do it unless I can see it. Are you keeping
I can blame it on
Exactly. See, what Ezra is saying is very important. You know, it's, if you remember when Pinchas killed Zimri, the Pasuk says, this is fascinating, Vayakam Pinchas mitoch ha'edah. Pinchas arose from the community and he takes the knife and he kills him. Says Rabbi Kamenetsky, why is the Torah telling us? He got up and he took the, says some people today, says Rabbi Kamenetsky, walk with a knife in the pocket. They are looking for the target. The Torah tells us Pinchas was totally clean. But because it had to be done, he takes the knife. I'm saying, this halakha today, you can see a hotshot.
Oh, boy.
Here, next week is Israeli Day Parade. You'll see a Chassid, Shuga, going with the PLO. You're going to smacking. You're gaining nothing by smacking.
Yeah.
Not only you're gaining nothing because of PR, it's also because I'm not perfect. Am I really so careful about mitzvot? Look at what Rambam said about it. Mitzvah leorgam. Mitzvah. אם יש בידו כוח לאורגן בסייף, בפרהסיה. In public, you can go with a knife and stab the guy. ואם לאו, otherwise, יבוא עליהם בעלילות, try to do any tricks to cause his death. כיצד? This is what the Mishnah Berurah brings. ראה אחד מהם שנפל לבאר, you saw a man, one of these רשעים, yes? Fell into a well. Yes? והסולם בבאר, but the reason he can climb out, says remove the
ladder.
remove the ladder. קודם הוא מסרק הסולם. ואומר לו, okay. Now the Rambam understands that when he goes, it's very dangerous. So this now he continues. אבל הגויים, שאין בינינו ובינם מלחמה. רגע הגויים. ורואה בהמה דקה מישראל, וכיוצא בהם, אין מסבבים להם המיתה. We cannot cause the death. But, ואסור להצילם. I'm not obligated to save it. So now going back, this is what the Mishnah Berurah disagrees with the Pri Megadim. Pri Megadim says the guy was sentenced to die and he suffers a heart attack in jail. It says the Pri Megadim is still 16 hours till it's being executed, saved. Says the Mishnah Berurah is at least like the shepherd, but the Rambam says don't save him, yes? This is why, see, this type of a Rambam is a weapon to crazy guys. There are many people, this fellow that killed Rabin is a good example. He was an amazing young man, very educated, really believing in Israel. But, but Gold, Dr. Gold. Gold is the one that killed the Arabs in Ma'at HaMachpelah. Goldstein, Ma'at HaMachpelah, correct. He continues, Rambam, look.
Rabbi, can we learn? Sorry.
Yeah,
Can we learn anything from Bnei Korach that really made Teshuvah at the possible last second that they were able to, that anybody else could?
By Bnei Korach, their only is Bidei Shamayim. We are talking about only people who are mechuyav mitah b'dei adam. Yes. If you know, let's say we know a fellow that is always sleeping with a woman, but nida. This is karet. Karet, you have no right to interfere. Yes? The Rambam is talking about a religious guy that is a womanizer with married woman. This is mitah b'dei adam. He's a rasha. Yes? Understand? In the case of Korach, the machloket against Moshe, the mitah is a mitah b'dei shamayim. Now, cholekan b'dei shamayim. Look at the Rambam concludes to make sure that we not misunderstand him. במה דברים אמורים בישראל בעל עבירות שעומד ברשעו ושונה בו תמיד. He didn't do it once. He's repeating, ושונה בו תמיד כמו הרועים בהמה דקה, like shepherds of בהמה דקה, שפקרו בגזר והם, they continue. They were told many times, stop doing it. אבל ישראל בעל עבירות. Here, the Jews that we know today, majority, absolute majority of those Jews, בעל עבירות שאינו עומד בראשו תמיד. אבל, אלא, עושה עבירות להנאת עצמו. Most Jews who don't keep kosher, don't keep Shabbat, are doing it against Judaism?
No.
Oh, it's more comfortable. It's more comfortable. It's cheaper to buy. Says the Rambam, כגון אוכל נבלות לתיאבון, מצווה להצילו. מצווה להצילו. צבא להצילו, ואסור לעמוד על דמו.
Very
Okay,
nice.
so going back to how we got to it was the Mishnah Berurah. This is, you can see the argument between the Mishnah Berurah and the Megadim. The man was sentenced to death. Says the Mishnah Berurah is like a roeh be'emad hakar, don't save him. Pri Megadim says yes. You can hear now why the Pri Megadim says yes. Why? Because the Rambam says a repeating offender. Repeating offender. A person who was sentenced to death did it once, correct? We gave him a warning, he did it anyway. You can hear that he is not in the category of the Rambam. Don't save him. Don't save him is a repeating offender. בעבירות בין אדם לחברו, and he's chayav mitah, let him die. Let him die, or he said in the beginning, maybe he should kill him. This guy definitely has to be executed by the court. But to say not to save him for the next 16 hours, because he's like the roeh be'emad hakar, is not so simple, because the Rambam clearly says on roeh be'emad hakar, he says shepakru begezer, see shepakru begezer, והם הולכים ביבלתם. They are going and going and continuing doing, right? Continuing doing what they did. So on this you can hear that we would save them. Okay, so have a wonderful Mother's Day. Don't forget, if you have a mother or your wife could be a mother also, she's someone's mother. To do something meaningful, not the nonsense of buying flowers, which is only.
Will help the florist.
Yeah. Let's leave the Gemarot here.
Thank you, Rabbi.
The Mishnah Berurah, but the Gemarot leave.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome, because there is a Gemara that we have to see. This is the Mishnah Berurah we can take out. Have a wonderful week. So this take that. This is Rambam we put there. I'll take the one on 12 and go. Thank you very much for the question.
I hope, today, sometime today, it depends on my wife's schedule. Whatever she says, I'll go along with. It's a good rule for life anyway, Eli.